Hey friends, Dark and Dreadly here. Remember to like my video and subscribe to my channel. And also hit the bell icon if you want to stay on top of my postings. Enjoy the story. I have an astounding fear of insects. When I was younger, I had bedbugs, and the thought of having such a putrid, horrible infestation again scares the hell out of me. I never conquered that fear, nor recovered from that incident. And sometimes before I fall asleep, I'll feel like something is crawling all over me. It's ridiculous. There are few things I wouldn't sacrifice just to see that entire disgusting species go extinct. So one night when I saw an insect meandering across my bedspread, I froze. After a moment of horror, I ran and grabbed a knife just to kill it. Instead, when I was back, the insect was gone. I didn't sleep a single moment that night, too anxious and afraid to close my eyes. I stripped the bed, checked my baseboards, and vacuumed everything. Nothing revealed itself. I didn't even use my bed for 3 days, instead preferring the sofa with no blanket even in the middle of autumn. To me, it was better to be a little chilly and achy than chewed upon and getting my blood sucked. Instead of sleeping, I just drank extra coffee in the morning and went about life the best I could. On the 4th day, my friend Alex was visiting in the evening, and being the gracious host I was, I would have found it rude to not make sure everything in my house was clean. After hours of scouring every surface, I was satisfied. No bugs, no crumbs, no dust. Everything was just where it was meant to be. With that contentment, I greeted my guest with open arms. She complimented me on the cleanliness of my house, and we sat down. After a few rounds of Halo and whiskey, things got a little cozy and we set in to watch a movie together under some blankets. With us being a little tipsy and lonely, it didn't take long for something more sensual to happen. The night was as long as it was fun, but solely because biology is the darkest of magic. After getting dressed and having breakfast, we bid each other goodbye and I was smiling like a fool. That is until I saw a bug crawl toward the front door after her. I followed it, seeing it scuttle down the hallway at full speed. I saw Alex walking away from me, and not wanting to seem like a creep, I said nothing. Instead, I watched the bug crawl to her and climb onto her foot. Alex turned around, closed the door, and she was gone. I spent the next day wondering about that. I chose to ignore it as it was probably just a trick of my mind, a byproduct of negative headspace. After a trip to the store for more cleaning supplies, I called Alex and asked if she wanted to Netflix and chill the next day, and she agreed. Her coming over was a highlight. I definitely needed the human contact, but the entire time something just felt off. Her movements were jerky, her gaze lingered a bit too long, her words were awkward and stiff. Sex is sex though, and all night she stayed, all morning we cuddled. No bugs were found anywhere upon her departure. But about an hour after she left, I saw she forgot her cell phone. I swear on my mother's grave I'm no creep, but I couldn't help but notice about 15 different Tinder notifications when I saw the home screen. I felt used and maybe even a bit betrayed since Alex was my friend. But seeing all these people she was probably having sex with, I figured I should confront her about it. She even had a date planned for today. With the info on paper, I went to return the phone. For reasons unknown, I decided not to confront her when I met her, and we simply exchanged pleasantries and I gave her the phone back. When the time for her date rolled around, I decided to see if she would actually go through with it. The house she went to had very open windows, and I felt gross and creepy as I watched things unfold. Kissing, then third base, and then more. I spotted what looked like a line of bugs dispersing from under them, and I saw them crawl onto the man. My initial euphoria over what was happening to him quickly turned into horror as he sprung up and screamed, trying to fling the bugs off of himself. Alex just sat there watching with amusement. I can't say for sure what happened to him, but he turned pale and he fell over, and after a few more moments of yelling, he went silent. I stayed for a time after I watched Alex leave, and I eventually broke into the house. I saw on the floor a number of crushed bedbugs, all dead from the man's struggle. I didn't understand what I saw or how it could have happened, but when I got home, I saw bedbugs practically covering all of my furniture. I kept bug bombs due to my irrational fear, but I was thankful I had them, and I scrambled to my cabinet to get them. I deployed 4 of them even though the label stated just to use 1. I closed all the windows and doors, went outside and sat next to the front door, letting the bombs do their work. I could see the air in my apartment turning milky and opaque with the bug bomb vapors. After a few minutes, I thought I could hear someone coughing from behind me. But then I heard pounding on my door, coming from the inside. Someone was trying to get out of my apartment, but I lived alone. Further to my horror, a familiar voice pleaded, "Please, let me out." It was Alex. I knew she couldn't have been in there, but I also knew what I saw at that man's house was no illusion. So I held that door closed. I didn't say a word. I silently thanked whatever powers that be that my door was practically airtight. After a while, I heard a dull thump, and I waited about another hour before daring to enter the apartment. The vapors were almost unbearable, and it made me hack my lungs out as I went about opening the windows. The airflow quickly caused them to disperse. I saw a pile of dead bugs by the door, and a line of them leading to the bathroom window, which I did not have a chance to open yet. However, that window was open, and I was sure I closed it while I was fumigating the apartment. I walked over, saw more dead bugs on the ground 2 stories below, and wondered what happened. Alex was nowhere in sight. Then I grabbed a few bags and carefully packed them to make sure there was no signs of bugs anywhere as I stowed my essential items. For the last week, I've been living out of my car. Alex, or whatever the hell that thing is, it knows where I live, but at least not where my car is. Now I'm 2 states over. But every night when I go to sleep, I still feel like bedbugs are crawling all over me, tormenting me. I've been scratching myself to the point where my skin is red and raw, even bleeding in some places. This morning, I woke up to see insects crawling to my car. I freaked out and I drove for 2 hours before stopping to see if there was anything on my car. To my horror, I saw a small cluster of bugs clinging to the driver's side front door. I pulled out some hairspray and a lighter and made short work of them. I didn't even care that I scorched my paint job, but I still can't help feel like when I go to sleep tonight, these things will prowl across the countryside until they catch me. I've been driving for hours now, and it's already dusk. I've been too scared to eat, and I've drank nothing but coffee for the last 2 days. I've crossed another state border and my car is almost out of gas, but I just know I'm still not safe.